It's The Rock We Live On with Mo and Craig.
Cheers, good sir.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to The Rock We Live On. It's moving, it's shaking, it's going crazy.
Yeah, it's twirling around the sun, all that good stuff.
Things are going nuts.
So we got a holiday coming up very soon.
Yeah. Labor Day is on its way.
Labor Day, yeah. My daughter's birthday is right around there, too.
Oh, really? That's fun. Into summer.
So we figured this would be a good chance to talk about work history. Actual labor, right? Talk about the jobs we've had, the good, the bad, the ugly, the weird.
Kind of the status of the way things are today, too.
Yep.
I mean, the labor jobs report came out not long ago. I think it was maybe 2-3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. And what is it?
Where the U.S. has actually lost 24,000 jobs. They were expected to gain 95,000, and it lost 24,000.
Since when was the last report?
I think they're quarterly.
Quarterly, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
And every time they project how much they think it's going to gain, and then they kind of base on the economy, how it's doing based on the jobs report. Mm-hmm. And so it's a big deal. And this one sucked. So it
Not
was
a surprise.
It was a big time loss. And I don't know what they credit it to. I didn't really pay much attention to that. But, you know, a lot of things are changing. Industry is changing. Employment is down. Unemployment is up. Mm-hmm. The economy is affecting that. And the jobs affect the economy. Economy affects jobs. AI has a lot to do with it. They were expecting a lot from FIFA, from the World Cup. Mm-hmm. With hospitality and those kind of restaurant jobs with all the venues and where those games were being played, and it really didn't make a big difference.
Well, that would be temporary anyway, right? I mean, it's not like those jobs would be permanent unless you. I mean, I guess I don't know how that would work.
Well, because it's quarterly, it would show up if a lot of people were hiring for, like for the holidays. The jobs report is great because everybody starts hiring for the holidays, and then the next one is not so bad. But they also project that, they expect that, and so they were expecting more from FIFA, and it just didn't really happen. But yeah, it just kind of gives you a snapshot of where we are in the world and what's going on. And we can talk about, I don't know how we're going to talk about some of these things, but as a person over 50, it's really difficult to find a job these days. You're age discriminated. I don't really know what the big goal is. Employers are looking for a lower wage person, so younger. Yeah. A more tech savvy person, and I think the stereotype is that older people are not tech savvy, and
which I can say that that does not apply to you because you're very tech savvy.
I try to learn and teach.
For those that don't know, all of our editing and everything with our audio, our video, all that stuff is this gentleman right here. I don't know how to do any of it. So I used to be able to edit audio when I was in radio, which we'll talk about, as one of my jobs, but that was about it.
Well, I'm learning more. I use AI quite a bit. We use AI for some of our promotional stuff, our pictures. We use AI for our descriptions. Yeah. There are a lot more things that I'm learning about AI that could help us promote our podcast. So I try to learn more about that. But yeah, I think the general consensus is older people are not tech savvy, and so therefore they don't want older. They don't care about the experience because
that used to be the thing.
It used to be the thing.
Experience was the biggest thing.
Right. If you've been doing a certain job for a long period of time, then you're valuable for a company. Not so much. People change jobs like every 2 years now because they're jumping for salary changes. Somebody offers them another $1 per hour, and they're gone. Yeah. And then work for 2 years and jump again and jump again. In my day growing up, you basically found a job that you really loved. You perfected that profession, and you did more than you got paid for because eventually you'd get paid for what you did. Mm-hmm. And so you stuck with it. I didn't follow that rule. My resume looks like Swiss cheese. I've jumped all over the place because I get bored. Yeah. Or there's been a lot of things that have happened in my career that have changed the course of, kind of dictated where it went. Yeah. And we can talk about that. But yeah, I think AI too is also screening applicants. So you apply for a job and they run you through AI. and give me a background on this guy. And it's going to tell you how old he is. Presumably, they can pretty much nail down who you are by your name, address, phone number.
Right.
They can find you on the internet. They know how old you are, which used to be something they weren't allowed to ask.
But they would have your birthday, so
well,
wouldn't be hard.
after an employment, once employment is hired, then they get your ID. But during an interview, you don't have that information, and they're not supposed to ask.
Well, okay, maybe I'm just tripping. I always I haven't had to apply for a job in a while, but okay, maybe.
Yeah.
But I feel like it would ask for your birthday on
They
application.
don't. On an maybe on a regular, typical job application. If you're just sending in a resume and they're trying to decide based on resume, it doesn't have that information on it.
Yeah. I'm thinking about job
But now they
applications.
do. They can check your background. They can check your social media. They know a lot of information about you. And AI is weeding out people. So if they get 100 applicants, they're going to narrow it down to maybe 10 or 15 that they think are the best based on whatever criteria the employer is putting into AI, what they're looking for. And so your chances of getting a call back or talking to somebody real are just becoming more and more slim. And like I said, as a person over 50, it's few and far between. I think I've been age discriminated a few times, and there's some specific companies that I won't name, but I know that I actually went for an interview and I was told you're perfect. Everything's great. And then all of a sudden, like I don't know, something happened. And then they sent out an ad for the same job. And I'm like, well, I was told I was perfect for this job, and now you're advertising again. So I applied again, and I got another interview. And when I told them, this is interesting, I've already been in an interview, and now you're calling me for another interview. And they hung up on me. And I was like, something's fishy going on there. So
yeah, that's interesting.
They didn't want to get into trouble. Their HR department was making big mistakes. And they can get in trouble. HR departments are very particular and choosy with what they do because mistakes happen. And now there's all kinds of discrimination laws and, many things. Age discrimination, race, religion. So many things that they can get in trouble with that they're very cautious on how and who they hire. Bigger companies, I think, somebody that has something to lose. Smaller companies, not so much. They're just relying on whatever they can find out because they're not paying for a big background search and that kind of stuff. Drug screenings, I think, are kind of going away too.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you the last time I had to take a drug test for a job.
And I think a lot of companies are saying THC is okay.
Yeah.
We're all right with that because a lot of places have legalized it. And some want to legalize it.
Yeah. So what if if they were to turn you away for it, but you say, hey, I was just in Colorado on vacation.
Right.
I just so happened you guys called me for this interview, but I was in Colorado or I was in
I was
LA
legally
partaking
in what was legal where I was.
Yeah. And now I'm back home.
Right.
And you've scheduled me for this interview.
Yeah.
I don't smoke it here.
Right. Or I don't smoke it on a regular basis.
Yeah,
I just
I only
did
do it
because
when
it
I'm
stays
in
in
an
your
area.
system for 30 days.
Yeah. So that would become.
I think that's where they're kind of like, and because the government has declassified it or changed the classification of marijuana, it's getting closer to being legal everywhere. That they've just kind of let loose the reins a little bit, I think, on THC.
Yeah.
But the other stuff, barbiturates or whatever, and then you're like, hey, I just ate a poppy seed bagel, and now I'm testing positive. And, they don't know who to believe or what to believe. So
hey, I just snorted one bump, dude. It was just one bump,
just
man.
one bump. It's not my normal thing, but I was having a good time.
Yeah. So let's talk first job ever.
Okay.
First job ever.
First job ever was before you were born.
Okay.
Probably.
Really?
I think. I don't know.
I was born at the
well,
end
you're
of
37, yeah.
38. I was born at the
38.
end of 87. December of 87.
Oh, hell yeah.
Really? Your first job was before I was born? Holy
Yes,
shit.
that's crazy. I started working in my first job ever was paper route. I mean, they don't even have that anymore.
No. So first
Real job
Yeah,
employment.
yeah.
Was a janitor at an elementary school
Okay.
in 1981.
Oh, wow.
That tells you.
Oh, shoot.
And
Okay.
yeah, I was like barely 16 and a half. And I would go after school.
I was about to say, because you were in school too.
I was in school. So
Okay.
yeah, it was after school. I would go to an elementary school and I would help out the custodian because custodians in school clean up after school is out.
Mm-hmm.
So school gets out. I would get out about the same time and I would go there and help vacuum classrooms and clean up
My dad used
stuff
to do
and
that,
clean up the auditorium.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you, one thing happened that, and I'll never forget the janitor, his name was Red. Which is like the tip, and he wore like this green jumper all the time, and he had red hair. I mean, he was called Red because of his hair, and he just loved being a janitor. It's what he did his whole life, and he would, take leftover food from the cafeteria, even if it was in the trash can, if it was still sealed, because they had these sealed containers that had food in it, and if it was still sealed, he would take it home, and he would go home with whole bunches of stuff that he would take out of the trash at school. So he was definitely like your school janitor.
Yeah.
And I walked into like where the first graders and kindergartners would go to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand what they did.
Oh, God.
But there was a feces battle that took place in there.
No.
And it was on the walls. It was everywhere. It was thrown and plastered on the walls everywhere. And I opened the door and I looked and smelled and I was like, no.
Is that when you quit?
No, it's not when I quit, but I refused to clean it.
So
I'm
Red
like,
had to
I'm
clean it.
sorry, Red, I cannot do it. He's like, oh, no problem. I'll take care of it. Like, no big deal. And to this day, the cleaner that we used was like a wintergreen smell.
Mm-hmm.
And the smell of wintergreen, anything, I can't stand it because it immediately reminds me of like shit and wintergreen. And I can't. So you give me a wintergreen lifesaver, oh my gosh, all I think about is my first job and the smell that this cleaner and what it was cleaning mixed together. I can't deal. That's
wild.
Yeah.
That is wild.
So
my first job was CC's Pizza.
Nice.
When I was 15. What was crazy was we were kind of already regulars there. Like we loved eating there, and my dad. I told you before, my dad was our basketball coach, and so we would do all our little trophy ceremonies there, and had our birthday parties there. And so when I turned 15, I started working there.
There you go.
And I did almost everything in CC's. Like I was the bus boy, coming around the tables, getting all the stuff up, and I made the pizzas, and I remember they had like the stretching of the dough and the process of like putting holes in the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Like everything was like an intricate, like it just became muscle memory after a while. And we didn't have like the whole like tossing the dough up and doing all that.
Really?
But I remember
there's different types of pizza. So they would cut out the pizza. I know this is going to get off topic a little bit because I worked at 3 different pizza places in my life. And one, we hand tossed everything, throw it up in the air, that whole thing.
Yeah.
The other one where we would roll it out and lay it on this big table and then cut out the pizza shapes. Is that more like what it was?
So with us, they would somebody. I only had to do this a couple times, but there would be big things of dough, and we had a cutter that like cut the perfect roll out.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
So it was already risen and just big, and then they cut a ball.
Then we'd stuff the freezer. We'd fill these huge trays with like 20 of them each.
Yeah.
And they'd go into the cooler or whatever and rest in there. Yeah. And then at the morning time when we were about to open, somebody would go grab one of those trays, bring them out. We'd put the dough out, kind of stretch it around the different sizes that go on the buffet.
Yeah.
Right? And then we had this rack of just fucking little racks on the wall. And you would get about 20, 30 of those, and you just slide
Stick
them
'em up.
in each rack.
So they were pre-made, ready to go in the oven?
Right.
Yeah.
So then no, this was just the dough.
Just the dough.
It was just the dough.
See.
You would knead the dough or whatever you want to call it, and then they had this little thing. It's almost like a. What the fuck am I can't even think of what it was like. It was just this little roller, but it had spikes on it, and it would put holes in the bottom.
Put holes in the dough.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what it said. I
and
had
then we
one.
put all those on the rack, and so then as the day would go, you'd pull one off the rack, you'd cheese it, put whatever toppings go on that particular pizza, put it in the oven.
Yeah.
And as that rack started to get bare, somebody would go grab another tray.
Yeah.
Fill that rack back up.
Ready to go. Yeah.
And I'll never forget, like one time I got burned on the oven real bad. It was a buddy of mine. I forgot. Fuck, what was his name? It's a Mexican dude that I worked with. He was real cool. But he was playing around. He was just playing around. I was coming by carrying something, and he bumped me a little bit, and my arm went into hit the side of the oven.
Yeah.
It sat there for a second. And dude, that burn was terrible. Like it bubbled up, and it was real bad. They had to let me off of work for a couple of days.
Let you out.
But I'll never forget CC. I was trying to holler at all the girls that would come in there, and the thing about it,
there's a lot of teenagers coming around. Yeah,
you could only eat the free pizza while you're either on shift or where you're just coming on or just coming off of shift.
Yeah.
So if you came in with your family, cops ate free, but employees didn't.
No.
And I was like, what
off the clock. There was no employee discount. Yeah.
No.
But you could eat free. You could get a meal when you were there, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're just about to start work, you could eat.
Yeah.
If you're on break, you could eat. Or if you just got off work, you could eat for free. But not if you just came in with your family or your friends or whatever. And man, I got some stories about, dude, there was some hot ass Latina chicks that worked there with us, but they spoke very little English. And and my boss, I'm not going to say his name, but I still see him at another pizza place today. Actually, he's a manager at they serve pizza. It's a gas station now. But anyway, he was so weird sometimes. And so when he would shake your hand, he would take his finger, and I'm going to try to show it in the cameras. But when he would shake your hand, he would take his finger and do this on the inside of your hand.
What the hell is
and I'm
that?
like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? That's weird as shit. Yeah, and
side note, employment, professionalism, a firm handshake I've always appreciated.
As do I.
A limp one, when their hand is there and you squeeze it and there's nothing. Ugh.
I don't like that either. I remember
tickling. That's weird,
bro. And it made me. I was like, "Is this some pedophile shit?" But he did it to anybody. It wasn't even just teenagers. It was other adults.
Just everybody.
You're fucking weird. But what's funny is that where we live now had that location of CC's is no longer there, but they had opened up a second one, and that one still exists.
Really?
The second one still exists. Still the same owner. And one of the guys, so there was a particular Hispanic family that worked there with me, and it was 2 or 3 brothers and 1 or 2 sisters worked there. And one of those brothers that was still just a regular employee with me, I'm 38 now. I got this job when I was 15, left it at 16.
Yeah.
That dude is
still
now
there.
the manager there.
Oh
yes.
my gosh!
One of those
found
dudes
his home, and
is
that's
the manager
his thing.
there now. Yeah,
and I can't imagine he's making great money, but
I don't know. But he's been there over 20 years.
He's just been happy with the salary.
I just saw him a couple days ago. My daughter and I went to get some CC's.
That's why. And you say hi, hey.
Oh yeah,
how you
I talk to
doing?
him all the time. He's
That's
really cool,
nice.
and that's
cool.
the thing. Everybody there is CC's always has great customer service. At least at my place.
Yeah.
But I remember when I left there, I was 16. And I was upset because I don't know why. I never had this explained to me. But they started dropping my schedule down to 4 hours a week.
Yeah.
I was working 12 to 4 every Sunday, and that was it.
So
for a month straight. And I was like, what the hell?
Was there a problem with you and they decided to weed you out?
Maybe. I'm assuming that had to be what it was, but nobody ever told me anything. And so I was like, well, screw this.
That's kind of the games
Yeah.
employers play,
I went to
especially
Kroger.
with I think teenage workers.
Because
They don't want to fire you, so they just weed you out.
and I was used to having my own money. You know what I mean? Being able to pay for things that I wanted and stuff like that. So I was like, screw this. And I went down to Kroger, which was in the same shopping complex, basically. Like literally, it was a 35-second walk down the sidewalk. And I went down there and applied and got my second job ever, which was Kroger.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you left on your own from your first job.
I did.
I got fired from my first job.
The janitor
Yes.
job? You
yes.
did?
Yes.
Damn.
Well, I don't know. I don't remember the circumstance, but I think they were polishing floors or something. They had extra work they needed us to do. So they had us come in on Saturdays and work a full 8-hour day. Normally I was working 4 to 6 hours on the weekday.
Yeah.
But now I had to come in a full day on Saturday, 8 hours.
Oh,
and Red's like, hey, I got to go somewhere. I'll be gone for a while. You just do this, this, and this, and I'll be back. And I'm like, okay, cool. He took off. I went into the teacher's lounge and took a nap.
Oh, shit.
And he came back a little early, like a couple hours. He wasn't even gone that long.
Yeah.
And I was dead asleep.
Oh, my God.
On a couch in the teacher's lounge.
Holy cow.
I was 16 years old and I partied all night,
Yeah.
like, hey, I don't get up and go to work, all this stuff. So yeah, he fired me. And I remember, I don't remember exactly what he said, but he talked really weird and he let me go, but I didn't quite understand that I was being let go. And so I came back to work Monday and he's like, hey, I fired you on Saturday. And I'm like, oh, is that what that was? Okay, no problem.
I thought that was just a talk.
Yeah, I didn't understand, but hey, no problem. I'll go.
Hell
So
no,
yeah,
that's
that
crazy.
was it. And then I think I probably went to work for Kmart after that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I worked at Kmart a little
Kmart.
bit, just a little bit at one point. That's
I
where
worked probably Kmart. Well, Kmart was one of the longest jobs I had as a teenager. I worked there for a good year. And you know what was funny? I got my start I wanted to be in radio growing up as a kid. I always played radio. And I got my chance to be like an announcer at Kmart with the blue light specials. I don't know if you remember those.
the blue light specials, yeah.
And I was the blue light guy. And they would say, hey, do this and take the blue light around and we're going to mark this down. And I still joke to this day because I did a blue light special on Jiffy corn muffin mix. The little blue boxes.
Yeah.
They mark them down to 25 cents.
Oh, jeez.
And I tell people, like, when I started to announce it, you could feel the floor start to rumble. And you could feel the carts. You could hear people coming. They would swamp me. And I had back then we had to price everything to reduce the price. You had to put a sticker on it. And they had these pricing guns. I had one in each hand. And I was supposed to keep count of how many I marked down so they could keep track.
There's no way for
I
you
had
to
no idea. There was hundreds of them, and I was just going pricing all these things as people were taking. They would take, 10, 15, 20 of them. Just going crazy.
Jeez.
like I would get slammed on these blue light specials, and Jiffy corn muffin mix was the big one.
Damn.
But yeah, I still remember, saying, look up and around and you'll see that blue light flashing in your housewares department, where right now and right now only, we're selling Jiffy corn muffin mix for 25 cents. And they're like, oh my God, you could hear people going, oh,
And just coming, wow. See, my time at Kmart, which was kind of a full circle moment because my mom worked at Kmart when I was born, I believe. She was working at Kmart when I was born. But it came while I was still part-time at the radio station.
Yeah.
And I just needed, extra gigs. I had given up a full-time gig. This is jumping way ahead in my employment, history or whatever. But I had given up, I left a call center for AT&T, and that's when I got the radio. I also got hired as full-time at another call center. I went through the training there. I did a couple of weeks on the floor, but at that time I had gotten used to radio and really loved it. And I was like, I'm going to see this all the way through until I can be a full-time employee.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I had to give up the full-time gig at the other call center. So then I would just find something I could do part-time
Just
along
part-time
with the
to
part-time at the radio
yeah,
station.
yeah, to
One of those things
supplement.
was Kmart was closing down.
Yeah.
And they were looking for extra hands to come in, do the carts and help, with all the shit that's on sale and, whatever. And then after that 2 months or whatever of them slowly closing down, then we helped clear everything out of there.
Yeah.
And stuff. And
So
so
they need
that was
people to
my
go.
extent of being at Kmart. And it was fun.
I liked my job at Kmart.
I was older, obviously, at the time. And they thought the world of me because I wasn't a teenager. And I was actually doing the bare minimum for me was like a phenomenal job to them because they were used to teenagers.
Yeah.
And they were like, what the fuck?
There used to people not even showing up
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah, I liked my time at Kmart. I think I left there because I asked for a raise, and the answer was, well, we're thinking about firing you.
Oh, shit.
I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what I did wrong, but I think I deserve a raise, and if that's the way it is, then I'm just going to go.
We're on two completely different opposite ends
totally
of the spectrum.
different. And I was high school then. I was 17, probably working at Kmart. Kmart was kind of a place for my family, though, growing up. I mean, we would go there for dinner. They had those
the Little
subs.
Caesars?
Well, they had those Kmart sub sandwiches. I don't know if you would get a bunch of them in a bag. We'd go there and pick up dinner. Well, it was older. I don't know. When 1986, we're talking about.
Okay.
I'm sorry, 83. We're talking about when I was working there.
Okay.
But as a kid growing up, in the 70s, we would go to that same Kmart, and my family went there a bunch. And Kmart was just kind of a regular place for us.
I was going through Kmart in the 90s, like, as a kid.
Yeah.
Little Caesars was the thing. And I don't know what it was, but that Little Caesars in Kmart back then, totally, totally different than the Little Caesars we got now. That shit was phenomenal.
Totally different. I worked at Little Caesars once.
Yeah,
I've worked at Little Caesars. I've worked at a place called Golden Crust Pizza, and I worked at a Round Table Pizza. That's why I'm saying I've experienced.
You've
different
had a lot
types
of
pizza dough. Yeah, I was at 17 years old. I was an assistant manager at a pizza restaurant, and it probably wasn't a great idea to have a 17-year-old assistant manager.
Nah.
But hey, I was doing the job.
McDonald's did that with one of my boys too.
Yeah.
Made him an assistant manager while he's still in high school.
It was during the week when things were not as busy, and on the weekends they had the regular manager would stay, but I would run a crew, and we took some liberties. We would fill up gallons of beer and leave with them at the end of the night. You were talking about making dough.
Oh no.
At the end, the beer's gonna flow. Right on cue, we're talking about stealing beer, and there you go. Your beer's gonna pour out.
All right, there we go.
But we would make dough every night at the end of the shift, and at the end of each batch of dough, there was always a little piece left, and it wasn't big enough for the smallest size of a pizza. So I would tell the guys, whoever's making dough, set that aside. Every time you're going to make like 6 batches. By the end of that 6 batches, you're going to have a little piece and add those pieces together. And we're going to hide that in the walk-in refrigerator. And that becomes crew pizza. And so, it turned out to be a huge ball. And at the end, when I was managing, we would go and find those pizza balls, and everybody would make like their own section of whatever that you wanted on it. We'd make this massive pizza, and it was a crew pizza, and then we'd fill up some gallons of beer and take off.
Take them.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It was not so
What
good.
What was the job you left the quickest? Like quickest turnaround in and out?
I'm sure I've had jobs. Oh, you know what? I think I went for a job interview, and I wasn't sure what it was, and I was basically hired on the spot, and I went for the first day of training, and I was in a classroom full of people, and it turned out you're going to drive a truck of frozen meat, and you're going to drive around to neighborhoods and knock on doors and try to sell the meat.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, what? Is this
door-to-door meat
door-to-door
sales?
meat sales? And I'm like, no, that is not me. I did not think this is what it was. Oh,
that's hilarious.
Okay,
so that was the
that
quickest.
was bad.
So my quickest in and out was Longhorn Steakhouse.
Really?
I was in college, and I started there in the dish pit, right?
Yeah.
Started in the dish pit. First day, I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, my hands are burning, like they're fucking swollen and red.
Yeah.
And the second day, was Mother's Day.
Oh, you got slammed.
So I couldn't even come home. I only lived an hour from home.
Yeah.
I couldn't even come home to see my mom on Mother's Day because I had school and then work. And so I sent my mom a picture of all this mountain of dishes that I had to get washed. I was like, hey, happy Mother's Day.
Oh, my gosh. So she understood.
Dude, I'm talking, I mean, it was insane the amount of dishes that needed to be washed.
And they're like, we need those dishes now.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And then the third day, the guy's like, yeah, you know, a couple weeks at the dish pit, you might be able to come up to cook and blah, blah, blah. That third day, I got finished with that third day. I was like, I'm never going back to that motherfucker again.
Couple
never.
Weeks. Yeah.
And I called the guy the next day. I was like, hey, look, last night was it for me, man. I'm sorry. I usually would like to give a 2 weeks notice and all that. I'm done, brother. Yeah, I can't come back there. But I had some fun jobs in college too. I had Lenny's Sub Shop. And Lenny's Sub Shop was the truth. Like, I got cool with the guys, and I was on the grill, and that's where I learned how to make chicken salad. Now I love chicken salad. But I learned how to make. You
remember some recipes from there?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. And then I would be the one doing the Phillies. Oh, dude, I would hook that shit up because I'm fucking black. So I'm gonna make sure there's extra seasoning on the fucking meat. You know what I mean? Like, I'm cooking my ass off back there. And then when we were dead, I would sit back on this fucking, like, the thing that we used to, like, we'd put the chicken trays or just put whatever there to do stuff. It was just a little area that it was a corner there that we could do stuff with. Yeah. I would sit on that corner and just pass out. Literally, feet dangling off, head in my hands, like sleep like that. Yeah. And then I'd get an order and I'd get up and I'd just go cook it.
Good. Wow.
But I also worked at McAllister's Deli when I was in college. Have you ever heard of McAllister's?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's one not far from here.
The crazy thing about McAllister's was it was a little ghetto in there.
Really?
Right? It was a little ghetto in there. And I'll never forget, like, we had one dude who didn't give a shit about rules. Like, he would come pick up his check. He would be smoking a cigarette, walking through the cook area, like where we've got the food cooking.
Even
he'd smoke a cigarette walking through there. And I was a cigarette smoker, but I didn't do it in there. But three things that I remember vividly from working at McAllister's. One, I got my best friend a job there. And almost every time I get my best friend a job, it never goes well. Motherfucker, I got him hired at Kroger.
That's a tough thing to do.
I got him hired at Kroger. He fell asleep on his orientation day while he was doing the computer tests and shit.
Yeah.
So they were like, yeah, never mind.
Yeah. And that looks bad on you.
Like, bro, yes.
You recommended this guy.
But I was the king of Kroger at that point. So there was nothing. It was like, okay. Whatever. Yeah, it was no big whatever. Deal. He just only wanted to do dishes. He didn't want to cook. He didn't want to do anything else. He just wanted to do dishes. So my brother would be in the back doing dishes or whatever. The only time he would come up to the food area would be to get a nacho, dip it in the nacho cheese, eat it, and then go back to the dishes.
That's not good.
And then we had this one manager, this white dude. I do not remember his name, but he was cool as shit. And he was like, yeah, y'all, when the main manager's not here, we're going to do cleaning parties. Nice. And we're like, who the fuck wants to do it? How do you turn cleaning into a party? Well, a cleaning party was a Friday going into the weekend after we shut down. Mm-hmm. Drinks, weed. Oh, some of them were doing coke.
My gosh.
We would get fucked up and just clean the whole building.
Wow.
Music playing.
Yeah.
And it was fun. I was like, this makes me want to clean. Like, I'm enjoying cleaning this place.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget those cleaning parties, man, because it was like, I didn't do the coke, obviously, but I definitely did the drinks and the weed.
Yeah.
And we would get lit and just sweep, mop, dust, wipe down the walls, like clean out every contraption around the building.
Yeah.
But the other thing I would do at McAllister's is we had what they call spuds. I'm sure you've had a spud maybe at some point.
I don't know.
So
other than potatoes, I haven't been to McAllister's too many times. But.
So at McAllister's, a spud is two potatoes stuffed together to make one huge baked potato.
Oh.
So they cut the tip off of one, cut the tip off of the other, shove them together,
make one
huge big baked potato with all kind of shit in it.
Yeah.
So the ingredients that you could put in those baked potatoes, cheese, bacon bits, ham, turkey, whatever. Right. What we would do is go into the freezer or cooler, stuff my pockets full of because the ingredients were already measured out in little plastic bags.
Right.
So I just stuffed my pockets full of those little plastic bags, ham, turkey, bacon bits, cheese, whatever. We go to Walmart, get one of those. At the time, Walmart had those $5 humongous fucking pizzas.
Yeah.
Take one of those pizzas, bring all that shit on top of it, put it in the oven, and we would kill that shit, dude. Crazy. Oh, man. I remember stealing I don't even know why. Little bags of whipped cream, like it's like a triangle and it goes down. You gotta squirt it out like icing or something.
Yeah, like a squeeze bag.
I remember leaving there one day with one of those big bags in one pant leg and an entire loaf of bread in the other pant leg. And going home,
just shoving things down your pants,
dude. Oh, I
think I don't know if they ever learned because we were talking about free meals. I don't think they really do that anymore. Mm-hmm. There's a discounted meal, I think now. But I was going to say they probably didn't learn because so many people would steal so much stuff. That one pizza place that I said we would take the beer. At that time, later, this was after high school. I was living in an apartment with 4 other guys that were college students, and one of them worked with me, and he's like, dude, we got to have pizza night at the house, so I'm going to take everything we need for pizza night, and you bring the beer, and we're just going to have a big night. And I don't know how many times we did that. Yeah. He would take spaghetti or pizza or whatever we needed to eat, and I would load up gallons of beer, and we'd go back to the apartment. And so I don't know if they ever noticed. I never got fired. I mean, I left that job. I don't think they ever noticed. It was a family-owned restaurant, but people were taking stuff left and right. And I think that's the low-wage, unskilled worker is just going to make themselves whole, or they're going to add some things to it. Yeah. I worked at Arby's for a little while, and I was meat slicer number 1 was my job title. Okay. And I would just slice the meat and make sandwiches. And the juice from the roasts that they had gave me a rash. I had a rash on both hands all over, and I would wear gloves at work when touching the food, but it would get under the gloves. But still, I would still eat that, and we made like the best Arby's sandwiches when we weren't supposed to. Yeah, but we would mix the ingredients and stuff that they had, take what they had, and make it so much better. We're like, dude, they should put this on the menu. It was so good. And
they never do. Nobody ever never fuck do. That high concoction y'all came up with. We're not putting that on the menu. Go ahead.
I was to say, what's the worst thing you ever did? Was that the dishwashing job because you left? Was that the worst thing you ever had to do at work?
I would say, yeah, probably so. Like as far as I was like, absolutely not. I can't do this. Yeah. I'm trying to think like if there's times I was ever supposed to clean anything. Okay, well, Kroger
really has to like
Kroger. I would be put into charge of cleaning the bathroom.
Is that sometimes. The Kroger by Lowe's? Is that one we're talking about? It was a different one because both of my boys worked there.
No, I worked at the one Dover.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I know where that.
Cleaning the bathrooms was probably bad there sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Like, I've always been more of a customer service, sales kind of guy. So I haven't had a whole lot of like super duper hard labor.
Yeah, you got to do this horrible thing.
Yeah. I will say one of the most awkward and nervous things I've had to do as a job was when I was a manager for AT&T. I was a trainer.
Mm-hmm.
I started, on the cell phone side, AT&T then, and what's crazy is I had this job. I was about to go to the Air Force, right?
I was going to go to the
Air Force.
Wow.
And
I
just
can't
so
imagine
happens,
you cut your hair.
I didn't want to.
We haven't talked about your hair, but I imagine you've had this
Quite
most
a while.
of your life.
Yes. And so I didn't want to, but I had to do something. So I went and took the practice ASVAB, scored really high on it. And so the recruiter's like, "Oh, dude, you might as well just take the real test like now. Like, you're good. You're going to score high. You're going to get to pick your own job."
He's totally playing you.
I'm not that
totally
fucking
playing
stupid, dude.
you.
No, give me a couple weeks to study, make my mind up. In those couple of weeks, it just so happens that AT&T called me. Well, it wasn't AT&T. It was a third party, but AT&T was the client. They called me, brought me in for an interview, went well. I started working there. At first, I worked on the cell phone side, doing customer service, whatever. At one point, I started doing iPhone tech support, but this was iPhone was only at like iPhone 4 at this point.
Okay.
Like, so this was a long time ago. And I worked my way up to, I was like the top on the team, top performer, whatever. And what was crazy was I had very bad issues with punctuality back then.
Yeah.
And
I think anybody,
very bad,
young adults.
But I was so good. My numbers were so good that whenever my points would get up to the point where I would probably supposed to be fired, they would find a way to finesse it, because if I was to be fired, my team leader's team stats would go down because I was that good.
Yeah.
So I took advantage of that shit.
Finagling things.
But at the time, AT&T decided to introduce a new endeavor called Digital Life. It's home security.
Yeah.
And so they chose our center to be the first to ever sell that product.
Wow.
So when AT&T chose to go in that go with that endeavor, they asked, hey, we need 6 salespeople to kick this whole thing off for the whole world. I was one of those 6 people. I interviewed for it. It went well. So when Digital Life became a thing, I was one of the first 6 people to sell it. So what happened was we started off selling it to just internal higher-ups within AT&T because they needed to test it out, test the process, make sure it would work, blah, 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 blah. So, we take these calls from internal AT&T people selling the systems. Then we started taking calls in really big markets that they were launching in: Dallas, New York, Chicago, whatever. And eventually it spread all around. So as it grew, they needed management. They needed trainers. They needed team leaders. So out of the first 6 of us, 1 of them left, and then 5 of us were left. Mm-hmm. Out of those 5 of us, the other 4 took on team lead type positions. I was the only one that became a trainer.
Nice.
And so now when new classes would come in to work for that product, I was one of the trainers to train them.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I loved being a manager. I loved being a trainer. I like being the one to get my hands on the people first and mold them and teach them and whatever. And let's be honest here. After I became single, because at the time I was dating my daughter's mom, after I became single, I was also first to get dibs on the chicks.
The new recruits.
Now, I did promise my manager, because she knew I was going to be a whore. And she was like, look, I just need you to promise me that you will not have sex with any of these women while they are in training. And I said, you know what? I can give you that at the very least.
That's
She's been
nice.
kind enough. I will not touch any of these women while they're still in training. So I would, even if they flirted with me, even if they whatever, I would wait until they became a full-on floor agent before I would go on and do my thing with them. But anyway, at one point, there was a girl in my class, and she had an odor issue.
Oh.
Yeah, a girl at that.
Wow. I have dealt with this in a workplace before.
So it got to the point where my beer started to go up. You saw that. It got to the point where other agents were complaining about her smell.
Yeah.
They were coming to me and saying, hey,
You have to.
This girl is really, it's to the point where it's interrupting. Like, I can't focus. So I'm like, shit.
So uncomfortable.
How do I have this conversation?
And it's a
with
personal
this young lady?
hygiene issue?
Yes.
Okay.
And she's a sweetheart. She's such a sweet girl.
Yeah.
Right? So I go to my boss and I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. And she was like, well, you're going to have a talk with her. I'm like, why can't you do it? She's like, you're a fucking manager. I'm like, oh, shit. Well, she didn't say fucking. I don't think she cusses. But I was like, oh, God. She was like, but you will need another woman, so get another female trainer to sit with you and have a conversation.
Take some people, yeah.
I said, okay. So what I did was I didn't want to call the girl out. So what I did was we were like 2 weeks in, and it was a 4-week training. And so I was like, hey, y'all, today we're going to go do one-on-ones. I'm going to pull every single one of you one-on-one. We're going to talk about your progress. We're going to talk about any questions you have. How are you feeling? Everything. So that way, when I called her out, it wasn't strange.
Yeah.
Nobody was like, oh, he's finally going to talk to her.
Right.
So, and I didn't call her first either, because then everybody would have known what I said.
Right.
So I called like 3 or 4 other people first, then I called her.
Yeah.
And we went around to my desk. I had another trainer come in, and we, talked. And first we started like a regular meeting, asking her how she's feeling, how she's doing, her progress,
Real nice.
whatever.
Working your way up.
Yeah. And then I was like, so before we finish this conversation, like, there is something I need to bring up. Seems that there may be an issue with body odor.
Yeah.
Personal hygiene. And she's like, oh, I know. Yeah, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, oh, so this is something you're aware of.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, I've been trying to. And she was like, kind of like one of those black hippie girls, you know what I mean? Like, so she was trying to use like all natural deodorants and body washes and, whatever. And she was like, yeah, so I've been trying to use this all natural stuff because I don't want chemicals on my body and da-da-da. And I'm like, okay, well,
it's not working.
It's not working, And oh my God, it was so terrible to have that conversation, dude. And she was such a sweetheart, though. And she was like, well, I'm going to do better. I'm going to, I'll go back to regular deodorants and stuff like that. And sure enough,
it all worked out.
Yeah.
There was a guy that I worked with once that was taking a medication that made his breath just unbearable, overly strong and unbearable. And everybody was complaining, and the manager had to address it, his breath. And it turned out, we didn't know then. Turns out it was a medication that he was on, but he went around and apologized to everybody and said, hey, I'm on this medication.
Did he do it face to face?
Yeah. And you're like, whoa.
Wait,
you don't have to try not to talk to me.
It was still stinking while he was apologizing?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And we're like, okay, cool, but, do something. It was so uncomfortable, though, to bring it up and for the manager to have to talk to him about that.
Yeah.
I think he ended up leaving the job because it's like, I got to keep taking this medication, whatever it was. I don't know what it was for. Yeah. But he's like, if you can't work in close quarters with anybody because it smells so bad. I'm assuming work from home
jobs weren't
I don't know. No, it wasn't. This was, mid-'80s. It wasn't really a thing anymore or back then, but really bad.
Jeez.
So I was going to tell you the worst, really the task that I ever had to do was in the Army. Mm-hmm. And you would think, Army, they're going to give you some shitty stuff to do, but long story about my basic training career. I was in basic training almost double the amount of time that I was supposed to be there.
Oh, shit.
Because I broke my leg. And when I broke my leg, then I went through that. And as soon as I got my cast, they sent me on a 10-mile run, and I got tendinitis. So then I was, incapacitated for another length of time. Damn. So I ended up at 3-month basic and AIT. I was there for 9 months.
Jeez.
And what happens, they have cycles, people that come through basic training, and they go through a 13-week program is what I was in. And I was in the 9th week when I broke my leg and was not able to continue. Mm-hmm. So they tried to put me back with a group that was close to that 9-week time. Mm-hmm. And the closest they could get was 3 weeks. Nobody was closer to 9 weeks than that. So I went with a group that was 3 weeks into their training, and they're like, we don't expect you to repeat the training. So you're just going to do whatever they do for 6 weeks until they catch up to you. And when you're out doing whatever they do, we're going to find things for you to do. Okay. I mean, I didn't have a choice. So one of them, they go out to the firing range. When you're firing, weapons, it was M16s at the time. You're out in the middle of the woods, at a firing range that's way away from everything, so bullets don't hurt anything. And they said, okay, your job is to go to the firing range latrine, which is, the bathroom.
Yeah.
And it needs to be painted. You're going to go paint the latrine. And at that time, first of all, you don't think that's a big deal. Number one, it was Kentucky in the summer. It's 90 degrees and humidity like crazy. Oh. And then the latrine is an outhouse. There's no running water. It's an outhouse. And it's basically this big building that has like a bench with 5 holes cut in it. Oh. And it's not emptied on a regular basis. It's like a wood building.
So you were painting the inside or the outside?
Yes, the inside. Oh. All the paint was chipping on the inside. So I had to scrape the paint on the walls and the ceiling inside an outhouse.
And then repaint it.
Oh, my By myself. God. Because there was nobody there to help me. They're all shooting. Yeah. They're out at the firing range.
They're all doing shit that you had already
already done. Yeah.
Damn.
I had no choice. And you go to the firing range for a while because in the military you have to qualify on a weapon. So you practice it for a while before you qualify. So yeah, I probably every day for a week. I'm going. They're like, head out, go to the latrine, scraping paint. Like big wood chips of like lead paint. Who knows what's in it? I'm scraping it with a like a putty knife.
Yeah.
Scraping it off and repainting the whole thing.
Gee whiz.
Oh my gosh. The smell was just awful. And you're just cussing everything. Why did I join the Army? You said Air Force. My plan was to join the Air Force. I ended up in the Army. And just, horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I got through it, but it was a terrible thing. So
I think we've between the two of us, we've done a lot of jobs. We didn't even touch on radio, but
we didn't touch on radio. I had 3 failed businesses that were all outside sources of things that I couldn't control, like
so we might have to
global
do a part 2
stuff.
on this.
Yeah,
I think
radio. Radio was the best job I ever had.
I was gonna say, I feel like both of our answer is radio for best job.
Absolutely, yeah. I would laugh so hard every day that my stomach would hurt. And like you couldn't wait to go to work, and I didn't care about how long I worked.
Nope,
it was just the best.
I had to be there early in the morning. Yeah. It wasn't like I wasn't dreading waking up.
No.
Yeah.
But I left because I couldn't make a living.
Absolutely.
Couldn't make a living. Yep. Like this is the best job I could ever have, and they just won't pay me enough to survive.
Yeah.
I'm tired of struggling. I gotta move on. And the only other option was to move around the country.
If you wanted to go to a bigger market.
Right.
Well, you got kids. You don't want to leave your kids behind unless you can get a market that's willing to pay you enough to bring your kids with you.
I didn't, but I was recently out of the Army, just a few years out of the Army, and I didn't want to move around the country. I wanted to be back where I was from, and I just did not want to do that. And I
didn't look for a bigger market just because I didn't want to leave my kid behind.
Yeah.
Since her mother and I weren't together, there was no option for us to move together or something. So
I've had great jobs. I've had 4 jobs in the last year. I've been running into a lot of bad luck. I'm getting older, another year and a half and I can start collecting Social Security, and I'm just trying to make it now. So things are tough. But
please follow us, people. Follow our podcast. Help us get paid for doing this.
Let us monetize. We don't get paid for this.
Yeah, this is just for fun. On this yet.
We need some, even if they're dirty jobs that we've been talking about. We need some help.
Follow us and like our stuff so we can make a few bucks, and then we can just do this for a living.
Yeah,
we can literally come and entertain you for a living.
Hopefully everybody's gainfully employed, and I hope you have a great job that you love.
Yeah.
Don't do what I do. Jump around to different jobs year after year, changing jobs and changing completely everything. My wife's done the same thing since she was 16, and she makes good money because she stuck with one thing, and now she's an expert in her field.
I never knew what I was going to do. I always thought I was going to be a rapper or a basketball player. Speaking of rapping, I forgot. I got to share one more story from the Kroger days when you mentioned the Blue Light Special. So I fancied myself a rapper back in the day, and on 2 occasions, my jobs found out that I was a rapper and used it to their advantage.
Nice.
So at Kroger, they wanted me to write a Kroger rap. And it was a point. Oh, there was another Kroger story I wanted to share too. Damn, we're gonna have to do a part 2 about this.
Part 2.
We've been going for a while. We're gonna have to do a part 2. But I'll share this and I'll give the other stories on part 2. So, they wanted me to do a Kroger rap. They found out I could rap, and they were like, "Oh, you should write a Kroger rap." And I'm like, "Okay, well, what am I gonna do with that?" And so what they did was they had me write an 8-bar rap about Kroger and its products.
Yeah.
And every hour on the hour for whatever my shift was, I would get on the intercom and rap the Kroger rap.
On the intercom, wow.
On the intercom. And so every hour I wrote, it took me a couple of hours to make sure what I wanted the rap to be or whatever. And so there was no beat. It's a cappella, right?
Yeah.
And so I came up with that rap. And then what was crazy was anytime it happened when friends of mine were in the store and they'd hear it on the intercom, like, excuse me, Kroger shoppers, it's time for your Kroger rap. And I literally, the only line I remember now is the 2 lines I remember is, "We got cookies, cakes, and ice cream too. Anything that you want, yeah, we got it for you." Like that's how I ended it every time.
Yeah.
I forgot what I said up before that.
That's funny. I'm surprised you don't remember it.
I don't. And then and when I was working for AT&T, we had a really fun atmosphere sometimes.
Yeah.
And so at one point they did like a talent show between different departments. And so the training department, our manager, LaCanya, she's one of my favorite managers. We're going to have to, on part 2, we're going to have to talk about favorite managers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
She was very creative, and she was also very competitive and wanted to win. And so did we. So she pumped us up, and we wanted to win. So we put on a talent show where we did a performance, almost a lip sync style performance.
Yeah.
Of different songs, and it was like a play as well because there were skits within it, and it was like songs tied in and then little bits that were skits of us acting out phone calls and stuff. And then at one point in the midst of a skit of a customer, the whole thing was a customer and a rep talking.
Yeah.
The entire thing was a customer and a rep talking. It would go back and forth from them talking music, or what us performing. At one point, the resolution of their problem, they were like, "You know how to rap, don't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they were like, "Well, we need an original rap to go in this part." And I was like, "Are you sure?" They're like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right, I think I can do it. I'll try." And so we had the beat to Royals, Lord,
Lord,
Royals, and I had to write a rap that was basically explaining data plans and using data overage, and then how we could correct it for you and make your bill lower going forward.
Not a lot of street cred with that rap.
And I can still, the crazy thing is, you can still find this video today. I'm pretty sure it's still on YouTube, but I saw it on my Facebook memories a while ago. Yeah, and
if I can find it, we're going to put it on the end of this podcast.
I might know it. I'm going to see if I can think of it. I remember, okay. So I said, let me break down just how a data plan works. You use it for something and to do your work. And if you start to go over, get over, then we'll send you a message to let you know your data has been a little excessive, or your usage has been a little excessive. Use it in moderation. Don't let it get extensive because overage charges will be a little expensive. If you don't want to get your bill and see that it is sky high, your best bet is probably connecting to some Wi-Fi. Oh man,
I like it. Cell phone advice.
Dude, it was such a good verse. Let's probably connect to some Wi-Fi.
The AT&T rap.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna see if I can find it.
We gotta find it
because if we will post.
I'll put it on the end of this podcast.
Yeah,
we'll have it.
If I can find it, we will post it.
All right.
But anyway, it's the rock we live on.
Hey, thanks for
the rock we work
us.
on.
Yes.
The labor we labor on.
Happy Labor Day.
Happy Labor Day. Hey, thanks for checking out The Rock We Live On with Mo and Craig. Make sure you like and follow us on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. And then you can also find us
anywhere where you listen to podcasts. We're on all platforms. Or check out Spotify podcasts to watch our videos.
Thanks a lot.